Hello, everybody. Could you please find your way to a seat? Mic check, mic check. Okay, and if we have anybody who is watching online on our stream and could let us know if you are able to hear us, that would be amazing. But we will slowly get started as folks in the room are starting to find their seats, and I will pass over to Maya.
Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to our PyLadies Berlin March event. We are really excited for tonight. We have a very full agenda and we are already behind. First of all, I will mention some community announcements. Then we have a small talk from our great host, Blacklane. We have 3 talks lined up. One of them is non-coding superpower talks. Erica will be with us. Lisa and myself will be giving some talks. And after all of the talks downstairs, we will have some food. And we will have some time to get to know each other, and we'll see you next time. Okay, so PyLadies around the world. We have almost like 75 chapters and a lot of members, and it's growing every year. We are spread over 30 countries and 74 cities. And PyLadies is an international mentorship group for marginalized genders, such as but not limited to non-binary people, trans people, women in tech, with a focus on helping our community become active participants and tech leaders in the tech industry. And all skill levels are welcome. We have talks for intermediate developers, for beginner level, and for advanced level as well. And our mission is to promote, educate, and advance a diverse Python community through outreach, education, conferences, events, and social gatherings. We aim to provide a friendly support network for all gender minorities around the world. And if anyone interested in Python is, of course, welcome, and they can participate. It's like we gathered so many amazing chapters from all over the world, and you can see some of the amazing participants like Chicago, Pune, Brazil, like a lot, I would say. Okay, so PyLadies Berlin specifically, we founded in 2013, and we are growing each year. We have currently 2,000 members, more than 2,000, 4 chapters in Germany, and like more incoming. Oops, sorry. Oh, yeah. We have a strict code of conduct, and we believe that knowledge is for everyone, and we want to provide a peaceful and safe environment. We want to aim primarily to empower gender minorities in tech community, and by attending and being here, you are agreeing our code of conduct. And if you see someone or something making you uncomfortable, please come and talk with us. We will try to be helpful. And we make photos during the event for our social media. If you want to be like excluded of the photos, you either come to me or just raise your hand right now if you feel comfortable. Okay. We have more events coming up. In March 18th, there will be PyBerlin Berlin. It's Spice Academy. And at the end of March, there is a Women Tech Makers Berlin. And in May, Women in AI meetup. Sorry, online. So welcome to join all. And in April, we are planning for April Talk Evening, but more information is on our Slack channel shortly. And you can create our own PyLadies avatar, which is, I think, quite cute. You can go to this website. There should be a QR code, but there's not at the moment, but it's fine. So yeah, it's actually a community project. So Yeah, in Berlin chapter, we regularly organize meetups with talks or workshops. We sometimes organize full-day workshops, set up events to get started with coding, have like this as a talk evening, and we try to connect people to companies. So it's a great way to network if you are looking for a job or if you're looking for someone to hire. And anything we can dream, we try to make it happen. And you can join us on PyID's Global Slack Workplace. If you go to this website, you can join and accept invitation and join the City Berlin. You can browse all the other channels according to your city. Yeah. And we have jobs, we have channels for open jobs like jobs posting or Jobs Europe. It's a great way to like meet people who are looking for a job and are looking to hire someone. Yeah, the Python community can learn a lot from you, and we're always looking for speakers. So if you want to practice your public speaking, I was not speaking like that before, like I was like really trembling and all. So this is a very safe space to practice your public speaking. Like we all have something to learn from each other. So welcome to talk. Yeah, so we are also we also have non-coding superpower talks. This can be like lightning talks, 5 minutes max, and it doesn't have to be related about, of course, technical stuff. But you can talk about, for example, presentation skills. I could definitely use that. Convince your colleagues, asking stupid questions, salary negotiations, networking tips, for example, how to prepare a CV, and many more. Get involved. You can give a talk, you can give a workshop, you can help us organize a meetup, you can be a coach in one of our workshops as well, and you can also join the organizing team. So every month in the first Monday, I think, we gather up and we discuss some of the decisions that we have to give, and we like try to shape the upcoming events. Yeah, we have a very nice raffle tonight. PyCon.de and PyData 2026 is happening in Darmstadt, I guess. And they are giving us like some free tickets. And if you want to join the raffle, you can scan this QR code and you can fill the form and you would enter the raffle. But they're just giving away the tickets, not the accommodation. So you have to, right? I think so, yeah. Cool. I'll just wait here for a couple seconds so everyone can scan. Cool. Can online people sign up? Oh yeah, they can. Online people can sign up too. Sorry. Okay, moving on in 2, 3. I would like to introduce our 3 speakers first, and then I will let the microphone to our host. Erika Wolf. Erika Wolf is a transgender woman who escaped the political dystopia of the USA in 2023, and she's been writing Python for 20 plus years and got to go through a painful transition from 2.7 to 3. I mean, who didn't? Like it's... and she still always format prints and return statements wrong. Yeah, me too. She got a master's in geographical information science, makes math with computers in the USA currently. She's a mentor / coach for Fidenza people who have found themselves as leaders in tech startups. Thank you so much for talk. I will give you the microphone later. We have Lisa Johannsen. Lisa Johannsen is a diploma engineer from Berlin working as a data engineer. She enjoys building reliable and scalable data systems while finding the right balance between automation, trust in data, and human expertise. For her, the best data solutions come from combining solid engineering with critical thinking and real-world context. And we have me. I'm Maya, software engineer with 8+ years of experience, one of the organizers of PyLadies Berlin. And I was also one of the organizers in Istanbul as well. Member of the Django Software Foundation, proud ex-mentor of Django Girls. And I'm trying to teach women and young girls how to code in events like Girls' Day. So I'm trying to be active in the community. And now some short welcome speak from our host, Black Lane.
Thank you. Hi, welcome to tonight's PyLadies event, and welcome to Blacklane. My name is Hyojin Kim. I'm a data analyst at Blacklane, and on behalf of everyone at Blacklane, I'm here to welcome you. A quick intro, we are a global chauffeur service, making sure our guests travel in nice cars with professional chauffeurs with the peace of mind that they're well taken care of. And we wanted to help you catch a glimpse at the premium and quality brand that we are by these very nice, silky, shiny printed name tags. Yeah. And while I'm at it, I wanted to share something that was shared in our internal newsletter celebrating Women's Day. And this was new to me, actually, but 37% of our crew globally identify as women, with 42% in management roles. I'm not bragging, and no one forced me to, share these stats and, I don't know, tell everyone how wonderful Blacklane is. Part of me thinks, or part of me wishes that equal representation should be such a no-brainer that we don't even have to talk about it. But until we get there, it's worthwhile to celebrate little milestones and gain more momentum, right? Yeah, so I wanted to share that. And I wanted to give a little shout out to Alex, who's standing right over there. He, I guess, doesn't fall into the typical PyLady label, but he is actually the one that really pushed for this event to happen at Blacklane tonight. And all of our workplace experience crew, Brenda, Petra, Aisha, Roxanne, all of you met downstairs. They really helped putting this together with the space and the food later and the whole process. So can we please get a round of applause before we move on? Yeah, we're really happy to have you here. And I'm looking forward to the 3 talks.
Thank you. Hey, thank you. Before you go, you can again register as a member of PyLadies and give us feedback on this workshop too. And now I will leave the stage for Erika. Thank you. Yep.
So should I share my Okay.
All right.
Good. This is like a talking stick. You don't have to eat the ice cream. That is my first presentation skill. You have to eat the ice cream. When you're handed a microphone like this, it doesn't work like a talking stick. You have to eat the ice cream. Yeah. Yeah. So, as you know, most programming communities have a word for good code. In Python, we call it Pythonic. If you've been writing code, Python code, as long as I have, you will know that Pythonic is shorthand for you're doing it wrong, or not the way you're doing it. So I have seen both sides of normativity in the tech community. I need to remember to advance my cards. These rules, norms, help teams collaborate. If you've ever opened a PR and had it rejected for not being Pythonic, you know that programming norms can feel a lot like social norms. Programming communities often enforce norms through technical means in the language. Java is a bad example of this. The use of whitespace in Python is another, but in general, Python is flexible enough to allow you to not be Pythonic. Normative coding hides the human process behind writing code. Writing code is a very human thing. Normative code is not a law of physics. You do not have to write Pythonic code in order to actually push code. So rules, norms help teams collaborate. What happens if we break those norms? Let's break some rules. So some of these examples are kind of silly, but they raise an important question. When is it best to break norms or follow norms? My answer is when creativity, it's best to break the norms when creativity matters more than maintainability, which is most of the time when you're writing Python code. I want to encourage risky behavior. Code fails. You didn't drain your brain writing Pythonic code, so you can try again. Maybe we try too hard to be Pythonic. Quirky comments, strange variable names are breadcrumbs we leave behind for our future selves. If everyone did this, this would be the norm. Debugging code on the UA would be a productive use of time. Remember, Pepe is not a natural law. Queer culture questions normativity. Programming culture should too. And that is my LinkedIn if you want to scan it and connect with me.
Anyone also online?
I'm done.
Thank you so much, Erica. Okay, as I was not the main organizer, can we do questions?
Yes.
Yes, we can do questions. Okay, who has a question for Erica? Don't be shy. She has a wealth of knowledge. Ideally, keep it around this topic, though.
Well, thank you. So what is your favorite line of code that you got asked that just broke all the rules?
Favorite line of code that has and broke all the rules? That's actually a good question. I don't remember a lot of my code because so much was sanitized through code reviews and linting that it hardly was my own code. And that's what always happens is they being the power, your CI/CD process wants you to commit beautiful code all the time, very Pythonic code. If there was a good validation for Pythonic code, it would be part of Pyland. Unfortunately, it's one of those things that Guido knows it when he sees it. Any other questions, comments, suggestions?
You had a question? Someone here had a question. Oh, sorry. You had a question.
No one else.
No one else.
It's the worst time to eat something. I liked your comments about comments and the examples. Is there, do you have a favorite funny code comment that you had?
Probably yes. Yeah, first Mike. Probably the weirdest thing I've ever seen was I worked with a gentleman from Taiwan who would misspell variable names, but do it consistently. So the code worked perfectly. It just looked weird. So variable names you have a lot of room with, unless you do Pylant and you're required to use like camel case or some silly thing like that.
It reminds me about like the British and American English. Like there's some variable names I'm just like, I cannot write that either. But then, yeah, again,
Yeah.
when everyone's used, it depends what everyone's used to.
So Jessica's mentioning the difference between American and British spellings, like color and favor. You know, for some reason, Americans like me drop the U's, and Brits like to use it. But then there are other changes, like, is it the trunk of the car or the boot? Is it the hood of the car or the bonnet? And other examples, like, is it a zucchini or a courgette?
For a Tuesday night. So I also wanted to ask you the AI question, right? The elephant in the room, but kind of in this context of norms and how we build them, I guess, first of all, how do you see AI currently interacting with those? And do you think it can be friend or foe?
So AI, friend or foe? That is a deep question. That's a whole nother talk. In this context, I was actually very aware that by writing non-normative code, you are emphasizing your humanity, emphasizing what makes you unique. If you have AI do it, it's going to be normative. So do you want to emulate an AI or do you want to be a human being?
Another tough question.
Yeah.
But humans, right?
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? Then please join me in another round of applause for Rebecca.
What's this?
Okay, we will just switch over to the next speaker. here. Add us back in. Hello, stream. We are back. Apologies for the small break. Okay, and I will hand it over to Lisa. Do you want me to do anything? I will try it like this. I'm right here.
Okay, so hello everyone. I'm delighted to have you all here today for my presentation. So my name is Lisa Johannsen and I am an engineer. I enjoy tackling challenges, which is why in recent years I have worked as an engineer to solve various challenges in the fields of front-end, back-end, cloud, and data science. And the project I present today here was developed in addition to my 350 hours of training as a data engineer at Data Scientists. So it allowed me to deepen my knowledge of various technologies, including Linux, Python, Git, SQL, MongoDB, Elasticsearch, Kafka, and many more. So through this project, I applied these skills in a practical and in a hands-on way. So I have integrated these technologies I mentioned before to build a CryptoBot to demonstrate my technical expertise and problem-solving skills in data engineering. Then there's machine learning and real-time data processing. So yeah, I look forward to sharing my work with you today and discussing the insights and the challenges I encountered along the way. So thanks, yeah, thank you for having me today. So the schedule for my talk, I divided it in the first part. So 25 minutes, I will talk about what is cryptocurrency and what is a cryptocurrency exchange. So, and what kind of data can be obtained from these exchanges and how can we structure such a CryptoBot. So, and what kind of data is needed, of course, and where can we store this kind of data? And yeah, what are the steps to build the model we need for predictions and how can it be deployed? So, and of course, I will talk about the challenges and the enhancement, yeah, of course. So afterwards, there's a time slot, I think 5 minutes for questions. So I start with a disclaimer because we talk about yeah, currencies. So I will read through it very fast. So yeah, the information provided here is for educational and informational purpose only. So I'm not a licensed financial advisor, broker, or investment professional. So nothing in this content should be considered financially investment or trading advice. So any discussion about Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, trading strategies, or automated trading bots is intended to solely explain technical concepts and possibility in software development and algorithmic systems. So cryptocurrency trading involves significant risk and may result in the loss of capital. So you should always conduct your own research and consult with a qualified financial professional before making any investment decision. So by using or relying on this information, you acknowledge that you are responsible for your own financial decisions and actions. So now we can start. So I've divided yeah, my talk into, or the first part of my talk into 4 chapters. So I will start with the first chapter, and we will talk about how, explain cryptocurrency dynamics and the Binance platform. Then when we talk about the use of the Binance API for historical data and for real-time data, can access it there. And I will show how I develop a function to fetch this market data and how I pre-process it. So I would like to explain cryptocurrency with this simple example. So imagine that one day you suddenly lose your job and you call your best friend and she tells you that she's currently at a party with some of her friends. So you are curious about how she manages her life and you ask her, what is she doing for a living? And then she smiles and begins to tell you a fascinating story. So she tells you that people all over the world send Bitcoin to each other. And these transactions create digital fingerprints you can see, and they are called hashes. So here are some hashes, some numbers. And her job is to collect many transactions, verify them, and place them into a block, like putting documents in a box. And then she performs complex calculations to create a block hash, so another number, and this is like that she seals the box with this hash. And when she succeeds, the box is added to a long chain of boxes here. And this is called the blockchain. So, and then you see here, for creating this block, she receives a reward in Bitcoin. So this is the money she makes. She also gets a transaction fee. And then you say, whoa, this is a very chilling job, isn't it? And she said, no, you have to be very fast. Because many others are trying to solve the same problem, and only the fastest one gets the reward. So here are others. So all computers in the network synchronize their chains and accept the chain where the correct block was found first. So this makes the system decentralized. So because no single person or company controls this kind of system, because it's on the servers all over the world. So I would like to ask, what is your friend's profession? Any ideas? Yes, she is a Bitcoin miner. This is her work. So why do people want Bitcoin? So this is a question, a very personal question. So everyone must make their own choices based on their beliefs and circumstances. So it's not part of this talk to decide or to talk about why people want this. So this is the limit of this talk. So, but maybe some of you want to buy Bitcoin or Ethereum, and it's up to you. So maybe we arrive there soon. So you see, then you go to a cryptocurrency exchange. So here, for example, you can see that there, I think this is euro, you can change in Bitcoin and the other way around, or you also can change US dollar to Bitcoin and so on. So let's summarize it. So there's so we talked about cryptocurrency, that this is a digital currency that is secured by cryptography. So your friend has to do a lot of calculations and is operating on decentralized blockchain network, and it has no central authority control. And then there is Binance, the Binance exchange. I choose this Binance exchange for my project because it's one of the largest cryptocurrency exchanges in the world. And yeah, you can buy and sell and trade cryptocurrency with this platform. But what is very interesting for my project was that there's an API you can access, and you can get real-time data and also historical market data. This is why I have this here again. So on the one side, you can access the market data endpoint, and here you can fetch real-time data into historical data for example, cryptocurrency prices. And then there is the WebSocket endpoint, and here is a streaming service, so you get the updates very fast. So this is the structure of my bot. And you will find here, as I said, the two different APIs. So here's for historical data. So it's a Binance REST API. And here's a retrieval script where I fetch the data. Then there is a pre-processing script where I format the data. And then an insert script where I put the data into the Elasticsearch database. As you see, everything runs in separate Docker containers. And so with this kind of data from Elasticsearch, I then decided to build a linear regression model that can make predictions for the price, for the currency price. And then on the other hand, there is the streaming data I received with the streaming API. So they're the same steps. So I have a retrieval function, a pre-processing, then the insert script that puts the data, stores the data in Elasticsearch. And I also use Kibana for visualization, but we will talk about this later. So you see everything in Docker containers. So here's some Python code. So right here, so there are there's a retrieval script. Here I have to get a key for the API, and I have to store it in a secure manner. And then I receive here the get historical candlesticks, so the data, so for example, for Bitcoin or for Ethereum, so 1 minute for 3 months. And then I have the endpoint streaming data, and here I get to the WebSocket, and I get a lot of massive kind of data, but it can run forever, and then I can collect it. And so now there are multiple pre-processing steps involved in this project. So here, for example, there's a pre-processing pipeline. This is used to prepare the data for building the model, ensuring that it's clean and well structured. Then here, the second one is another pre-processing step is applied to transform the data into a suitable format for inserting it in the database later on. And here for the streaming, I do the same. So there's also a pre-processing pipeline, and I transform it and properly format it. So now we come to chapter 2 of 4. So here I decided we will talk about a bulk script for the historical data, so put a lot of data in the database at once. Then there's the streaming script for the streaming data. I will talk about the installation of the database. The historical data collection, the streaming data collection, I will show this, and everything in an UML diagram for better understanding. So I choose Elasticsearch for my CryptoBot because it offers real-time data querying and allowing fast indexing fast indexing and retrieval of market data. So you have various nodes, so it makes it faster. So it has the advanced analytics. You can enable it for efficient calculation, like moving average and price trends, maybe in the future, but it's possible. And I really like here the Kibana visualization to see what's happening in the database and so on. So on the slide, I explain how I write into the Elasticsearch using two different approaches. So as we have the historical data, I do a mapping first. And I hope you can see it here. For example, there is a BTC close, and I say it's a type float. So I format it, and then I have a helpers bulk function to put all the data in the database at once. And then there is the second one. Here I have a dictionary because I received data from time, another document, and then I updated it. Will update it in the database. And now here you see again the schema and the UML diagram. You can also see here's the BTC close as a float for the historical data, and also for the streaming data, we have also the BTC close as a float, for example. So they have to be in the same format for later on. And now it's in the database, and we can check whether it was okay. So here we see BTC close. Now it's a number, a float. So this is a database entry. And here we have it as well. So now I come to chapter 3 of 4 for my talk. So now it's about building the model. Then calling the model, I use Fast API. Then I create the prediction of earnings. I setting up Kibana and integrating everything into a Docker Compose setup. So I choose PySpark for my CryptoBot because, yeah, so now it efficiently handles large market data sets, and this ensures fast processing and scalability. So it also speeds up model training, which is crucial for working, with real-time and historical data. And yeah, finally, PySpark integrates machine learning into big data pipelines. So you can do an automation. As I mentioned, I choose linear regression for my CryptoBot because it is a supervised machine learning algorithm that predicts a target variable and based on one or more independent features. And I have many of them. So also it's simple, it's fast and computation efficient, and good for trend predictions. So now these are the steps I made to build the model. Maybe they're very common. So I initialize a Spark session, then I query historical data and from Elasticsearch. Then I create the Spark data frame. I decided for lag features for BTC and ETC. That I split dataset into training 80% and testing 20%. I sample features into a single vector column. I scale features to range from 0 to 1 using min-max scalar. And then I train a linear regression model. And then I save the scalar because I forgot, but I have to. And then I save the regression model. So now here we see that I use Fast API as an application. This integrates with PySpark that I choose to provide a machine learning-based prediction service. So it loads a pre-trained linear regression model along with the min-max scalar. So here you see that here is the path to the model, and here it's loaded. I also have 2 endpoints, one for health check, and the other one is for calling the model. Unfortunately, the picture disappeared for the Kibana service. So I did this quick drawing in advance. So I decided that I have this huge database, the Elasticsearch database, and usually you can use it for the logs. You get a lot of logs when you run this system, the bot. So for example, you can use the Docker, there's a stack log, something like this. So you can put the logs into the Elasticsearch, and then, for example, you can see how often your health check works well or not, and so on. So you can do a visualization for that. That's what I did. But there's a lot of more you can do with this tool. So then I set up everything in Docker Compose. So here you see that I have a container for the Elasticsearch database, then the one for the Kibana, then the Python app in one container, and everything's connected with this network. So I will leave it like this, but please remember these names. There's a Python app, then there's the KB container, then there is the ES container, because we will see it now soon in a record I made from the process. And then there's the other side with the streaming data. There I use, here's for the Fast API. Then here's also the Kibana, Elasticsearch, and the streaming service, also in Docker. So I will leave it like this. Okay, I hope it's big enough. So now we will see how I start the whole system or deploy it with the Docker Compose setup. I hope I am fast enough to see this myself. So I start the Docker Compose setup for the retrieval of the historical data. So Elasticsearch and Kibana is set up. So here we can see that there are the names. I think here is one. I think the others can see it. So we have the ES container for Elasticsearch is set up. and also the Kibana. And we see that there are no entries yet in the database, so nothing set up here. But we see that system works. Now we see that there's an installation process going on. Then we see a lot of calculations, I think. It's very small over here. And then we see that there appear a lot of documents at one time. So in this moment, 8,000. So this is the bulk function. Also, we see here at the end that the model is now saved with doclib. So here on the floor. So now we see the same. So now we focus on the streaming data. So here we patch one element after each other. So the streaming Docker Compose setup has already been started, and the streaming data is being downloaded. And so every minute there will be a new document in the database. So I will check this. So now we have 2 documents over here. But since we work with lag features to train the regression model, a prediction is only generated once the 4th document is stored in Elasticsearch. Before, we cannot make any predictions. So I think now we see that the 3rd element is in the database. The first. So, and then there will be with the 4th element, there will be a signal to buy or not to buy with it. So if the prediction is higher than the current price, the signal is set to true. If the prediction is lower than the current price, the signal is set to false. So now we wait for the 4th element. Now it appears. And now there is a new document. I think here is false. So in this moment, you should not buy this kind of Bitcoin or Ethereum whatsoever. So in the 4th chapter, I talk about the challenges and the future enhancement of the project. So the whole project was a challenge for me. So yes, of course, however, in addition to the mentioned difficulties, I also encountered specific requirements I had not initially anticipated. So, and then there are future enhancements. This should be seen as aspects that are already designed to be integrated into the program in the future. So the first challenge was, accessing the Binance API with a key and where to store it, because other people could use it and then they do some bad things at the Binance exchange. Then, then understanding the API limits and data retrieval constraints. So they have a lot of data and a lot of things I did not need. So I need to separate between things I needed and not. Then installing Java dependencies in Docker for PySpark model building. I made it in the end. And then properly storing and loading the min-max scalar for consistency. I forgot that. Later on, I missed it for the streaming data. Then synchronizing data from both APIs for accuracy. So they had to be in the same format, even if they had different names as whatsoever. And debugging issues in Docker Compose development. So future enhancement or how to make it production ready. Someone asked me for that. Yes, it would be recommended to load more historical data for better accuracy because there's enough space in the storage. Then you could reduce the interval from 1 minute to 1 second to get more information, and then execute real trades using the order book. Yes, there's a second step for registration so that you can really have to put in your credit card details, and then you can allow it to really do trading. I didn't do that. And you can improve the model with polynomial regression or random forest regression, automate the model recalculations with Airflow or NiFi, and then of course expand the Kibana dashboard because this is a bit, it was okay. So here you see it again. To summarize everything, so we built a linear regression model based on historical data. Then it gives us a prediction, and we compare it with the streaming API data, and then we can make a decision to buy or not to buy. So I would like to thank the data scientist team, because it was a team for their guidance and support over the months. I worked with them, and I'm also deeply grateful to my family for always motivating and encouraging me, helping me stay mentally strong throughout this challenging training period. So thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Fantastic talk. Very insightful. I think we have time for a couple of questions. So yeah, Erica, you will be first.
So you noted that the model currently makes buy recommendation. Does it make sell recommendations too?
So now I just decided a very simple approach. So it is, for example, when the prediction is, I think, one Bitcoin is 10,000 euros, and the current price is 5,000 euros, then it gives you a signal to buy, or also to, I don't know, sell, but you can use it later on for your decision. And when it is above it, maybe 20,000 euros, but the prediction is 10,000, then it gives you a for not to buy, but you can also combine it in the other way around. So that's it. So what you do in the future with that. So, and I do no real trading yet. So
That might have been another question. Great question though. Anyone else? Question?
Have you tested your buying decisions against historical data? Did you make any virtual money?
I think this is a very personal question. So this is a prototype, as I mentioned, and not yet with this prototype, not yet, no, because there are some challenges I had to face before doing this. So, but yeah, that's it. It's private.
It could be a future enhancement.
It could be a future enhancement. So it would be possible, of course, to do this.
So we've got two questions.
Yeah, thanks for the talk. I was wondering what you're going to do with it. Are you going to start a startup, or where is it going from there?
I never thought about doing like a startup. I think that a lot of people already do this. So there are a lot of information. If someone is interested, you can find a lot of interesting material about that. Yes, but in the end, my personal opinion, maybe I can share it, is that for every, that there's a limit, because for every trade you make, you have to pay like a fee towards the exchange. And this means that when you have very small amounts of money, you have to earn more money than you actually pay for the fee. So maybe someone can give me a lot of money, then the fee would be in percentage very small. But this is something that is maybe there's a limit. So yeah, but why not? Go for it.
And you would work further on this project?
If someone likes to, yeah, you can contact me. So yeah, I think this is a very fascinating project, I think, because there is a lot of data accessible. And yeah, this is something I could really recommend, because you can do it very, usually when you buy other assets, you have to go find a broker but now you're very close to the actual process of buy and sell. So you should want to. So you can contact me if you like to, or contact me later on. I'm here.
Let's do the final question, and then maybe we can share your information somewhere for people. All right, all the way back, all the way to the back.
Thank you so much for this talk. I was wondering about your feature selection process in your linear regression model. How did you decide on which features to include in the model?
Sorry. Comes to you.
Well, I do not focus so much on the linear regression model. So I decided for a prototype, it should be something that works well and shows good results. I really could improve it with a kind of lag features so that I could put in the past. So also to put it in as a feature, and then the results were much better. But in this stage, I think that the linear regression model is, very simple to see results very fast. But as I mentioned, there are a lot of other options to put in account. So there is enough. There are a lot of features. So was this the question, or?
Maybe what I would suggest is, because we've got another speaker, but then we're going to have a break. So unfortunately for people online, that doesn't help a lot. But for people who are here, they can maybe come up to Lisa, if that's okay, and ask questions directly, and like also ask for her contact and more. So get rich together. Let's do that. I want to do that. All right, please join me in giving another round of applause to Lisa. And we will quickly switch. You're fine. We will quickly switch over to the next speaker. Okay, folks, hopefully you managed to get a quick drink in between, and we are going to get back into it for our final speaker, who is our very own Maya.
Okay. I know it's the third talk of the day. It was a working day. We're all tired and probably hungry. I know I am. I have a little headache too. I'll try to keep it short. I'll try to keep it hopefully interesting. I'll have questions at the end. Yeah, I wanted to give a talk about navigating technical interviews, but I want to ask the audience first a question. Did anyone here got ever stressed out about a technical interview that they have to go through? Okay. Okay. I'm so sorry, but I'm glad because
Maybe for the people online.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, that was the whole room. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry that it was the whole room, but in a way, I'm glad because otherwise, why I'm giving this talk anyway? So, yeah, that's good. Okay, so why actually I'm giving this talk? I joined so many interview processes as a candidate. And I was lucky enough to be on the other side of the table as well. So I joined a lot of interviews as an interviewer and interviewed more than 50 people. I think it was probably like 60 or so, but I can't keep track of it. So I wanted to share some wisdom, at least maybe from the other side of the table, that I think would have helped me in the past. And if you see this little star, it means it's a story time. I want to share something about something I had, small experiences, but I think maybe can add some value. Okay, so technical interviews, in theory, should mean that there are structured conversations and practical exercises to evaluate how a candidate thinks and perform in the actual job. But it never really is, because it also reflects pressure, communication, biases, expectations, and it heavily depends on context, which is why a technical interview is never just a technical interview. And so many things that would shape the interview, so many things. One of them is the mindset and communication and experiences, role-specific knowledge, the actual skill that you have. Interview formats, the interview's bias, mood, or expectation, and the cultural fit. Well, I put the cultural fit in quotes because what is cultural fit? Like, if you reject someone, for example, for some reason that you can't put a finger on it, we generally say it's a cultural fit, unfortunately. But yeah, you'll see some examples of a bad cultural fit. Okay, so mindset and communication. So technical interviews are never just about getting the right answers from the candidates. In fact, it's not even in the top 3 that I actually personally care about. It's about how you approach problems, how you frame a situation, for example, how you implement the solution. Are you like implement fast and fix later person? Are you like a perfectionist? You want to be like upright from the get-go? Are you talking about performance? What are you doing? And how you handle uncertainties, missing requirements, new tools, the whole uncomfortable situations. Also, how clearly you express yourself, because how you ask questions is really important. How you explain your assumptions, how you explain your trade-offs, your decisions, how you incorporate feedback, how you react to known and unknown areas is really important. Okay. 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 Sorry, I edited it right before the. It's a very rookie mistake. Anyways, you see a little sneak peek. But I want to say that interview goes both ways. So this is the thing that I want to scream at to the candidates. It should not be the case that only the interviewer is interviewing the candidate. There are a couple areas the interviewer is trying to learn something from the candidate, but candidates should also learn something from the interviewer about the company, about the role, about the team that they're joining, about their manager, who are they going to work with, for example. Okay, first, you already saw that, but what interviewer is trying to get to learn, like what is interviewers trying to figure out about you is like they're trying to assess your real skills behind the stress. In last week, I interviewed a candidate, was really stressed, and was trying to like apologize for a lot of things. And we realized, okay, what she's writing about, what she's talking about is not very Pythonic. but she's a really good developer. And we immediately thought, okay, she's coming from a different background, maybe Java. And she said, yeah, I'm coming from Java. So trying to understand your technical skills behind all of this stress, all of these unfamiliarities, and so many factors. Yeah, I already mentioned the story. We are also trying to predict your on-the-job behavior, because like you can be like perfect and you can give perfect answers, but you can be not very easy person to work with, maybe. We're trying to check your confidence and the reality balance, because you can always oversell yourself, and the code you write maybe is not up to that standard. So there's like always a check going on. And team fit in practice. How you collaborate with other people? How are you like giving away your opinions? How are you taking feedback, for example? And leveling. Maybe you are interviewing for a senior role, but you're actually a junior developer. Maybe it's vice versa. Maybe you undersell yourself. We're trying to always assess outside of the title that you applied to. What you can learn is from the interviewer now is the engineering culture. What I'm trying to say about engineering culture is that how do they make decisions, for example, in the team? How do they handle incidents, reviews? How do they ensure that the code is good quality? Team dynamics. Do people listen, interrupt, collaborate, respect boundaries? But of course, you can't ask them. It's like you can't say, "Oh, do people listen in your team?" Like the answer will be always yes. But you can ask, for example, about the latest incident they have. How did they approach this incident, for example? You can learn about the expectations, and you should, because what do they expect from you is going to be the main thing that main factor that would decide whether you pass your probation or not. So always ask about the expectations, the success. How do they measure success, for example? These are the important things that you should be getting. And growth opportunities. If you want to grow in your career, you should be able to do so in an environment that supports you. One time I remember that I was on the candidate side, and I was interviewing for a mid-level job, and I mentioned that, oh, I want to become a senior developer. That's like in one of my goals. And my soon-to-be manager said, sorry, but we're not actually looking for a senior developer. We're looking for a mid-level developer. That tells me that no matter what I do in this role, I won't be getting any promotion. I won't be getting any opportunities for me to excel myself. So of course, I didn't want to go through all of the steps of this promotion. So always ask for this stuff. Sorry, I pressed one thing. Okay, so the last thing that you should be getting is the values, because how do they treat you is exactly a mirror of how they treat their employees. If they don't show up for the meeting, for example, if they forget, if they don't reschedule, if they show up in a bad manner, if they don't treat you well, they don't treat their employees well too. So always be in lookout for those. Okay, so I gathered some of the things to avoid. Not asking any questions is a huge red flag. No matter how the interview, no matter your performance during the interview, if you don't ask any questions, we will be talking about it in this, unfortunately. Questions, when you ask, don't ask how was my performance, because you will not get an honest answer. I can't stress this enough. Do not talk about politics. Do not. One time, I was the interviewer, and we were going really well. I was making like small notes, and I even wrote my colleague, "Oh yeah, we found the guy. We are like, we can close this right now. We can close the job opening." And by the time that we were supposed to say goodbye, I wanted to say like some small talk. I was trying to, try to do small talk. But at the last point, he made such a horrible comment about some stuff and about politics. Out of nowhere, I didn't ask, by the way. He had so many opinions. And It was so horrible. We were like shocked, and yeah, we immediately said no. If he just kept his mouth shut, he would have get the role. Cheating. Of course, do not like. I don't know why I wrote it, but I want to share something, of course. So one time, again, I was an interviewer, and we were interviewing with a person from a different time zone, so it's like dark outside for him. And we said, okay, this is a live coding interview, and we will help you. So you don't have to remember some built-in functionality of Python. You don't have to remember anything. You can ask us. Just don't ask Google. Just don't ask anything. Ask us. And he said, yeah, okay, I will. And as soon as we asked the question, he was wearing glasses. The whole room light up, and we were able to see Google on the glasses. And like, come on, at least do it like a little, you know, I don't know. It was so obvious. So, yeah. Vague questions like, is your code base good? Is never good. So if you ask vague questions, you will get vague answers, and none of the things that I mentioned earlier will be known to you, so you will not have any clear idea about what the company did. Under and overconfidence, I don't think I have to explain this, but if you like be overconfident, you will not be able to live up to that. If you undersell yourself, maybe you're like, put a bad word for yourself. I don't know, don't do that. But these are encouraged. So for example, how does your team handle technical debt? This is a very good question. This can give you a lot of information, a lot of insights about the company. How do engineers influence architectural decisions or something like this? Because you want to influence some of the decisions. You want to take part of the important stuff. How the code review processes work, because that also tells you a lot about the team that you're joining, and it will be your like part of your day-to-day job. How engineering and product collaborate, because how cross-functional the team is very important for you, and how the team collaborate with different people from the company is like tells you a lot of things. What is expected of me in this role, again, tells you about the expectations. And how you measure success is a wonderful question that I really love to hear, because everyone defines success in a different way. Maybe my success is not your success. Maybe your understanding is something else. But at the end, the company will tell you if you pass the probation or not. So it's important, how do they define the success? I know technical interviews can be stressful, and you're not alone in thinking this, because according to a study which I shared here, the failure rate of the technical interviews doubles when being absorbed. So we know this, everybody knows this. And I realized when I sit on the other side of the table, all of the people interviewed you know this already. So there's always knowledge on the people's mind that, okay, yeah, maybe this person is having like a, maybe stressful situation, maybe we can help them. So keep that in mind. And I can't stress this enough, but the hiring team wants you to succeed. I want you to succeed. I want my candidates to succeed, because we need someone in the team. We desperately do. Like we need help. The workload is so much, and the sooner you join, the sooner our workload is like more light. So like we can have better work-life balance. So we want you to join right now. This is just all formalities. And even then, for example, there is a bias in the interviewer, and some companies tries to get over this bias by introducing a bar raiser interviews. Have you heard of bar raiser interviews before? Yeah, okay. If you haven't, bar raiser interview means that someone else, from different team who doesn't need you in their team, comes in and asks you a couple questions. They also give you they do some technical interview. Because they don't desperately need you, they can have like some more objective opinion, and they give this opinion to your team. They say, okay, maybe you overestimated this guy because you need them. So that's how much we want you in the team. So there is no tricky questions. We're all on your side. Seeing this helped me understand and get like a bit more chilled during the interviews. And experience, not just the years of practical experiences that you have on the job, but the interview experiences are also very important. And don't be scared of failing the interviews, because every time you learn something, and you can always apply again in maybe 6 months, it depends on the company, maybe in 3 months, again, you can ask. But I know a lot of people who join the same company after failing at least 1 or 2 interviews, so it's totally fine. And my biggest tip is to joining the hiring team. If you are if you're part of the process, you can see how other people think. You can see how many other factors are involved. If you can have this experience, I think it will also help you in your future candidate experiences. And so you have some water, sorry. Okay. Interview format is also one of the biggest factors of the interview. It can be a lead code style, coding questions. And if you don't know what lead code is, I think you had a very beautiful life. I mean, I admire you. I wish I also didn't know. But yeah, unfortunately. It can be a live coding questions. It can be a pair programming, take-home assignments, and system design. And this, what kind of interview format you get also tells you a lot of things about the company itself. Because, for example, if it's lead code style coding questions, it's probably larger companies or the companies who are getting a lot of applications. It can be one of those big 5, or it can be on the way there. If it's live coding, it means they want you to talk. They want you to understand how you think. So if you ever join live coding, never shut up. Always talk about what you're thinking. If it's pair programming, it means they actually don't really care if you give the right answer. They want to see how you collaborate. They want to see how you be there and discuss situations. So it's more chilled, and more and more companies are doing the pair programming at the moment. If it's take-home assignment, it's either a startup or a product company. I'm working at Kraken at the moment, and we are doing take-home assignments. I can say for the take-home assignments, it's one of the candidates' favorite, but the interviewer's worst nightmare because it takes longer to review. And the expectation is higher because you're not being observed. You have a week or 2 weeks, depending on the project, right? So you can do it on your own time. You can do more chilled, more relaxed. So the expectations will be also according to this. If it's a system design interview, it's likely that you're interviewing for a role from mid to more senior levels. And I actually like system design interviews because it shows you how the candidates involved in the processes before, in their experiences. And it can easily go over time. It's sometimes so fun. Both sides are more relaxed, more chilled. Yeah, I think it's a very good way to interview. Okay, I want to give some do's and don't do's for these as well, but not all of it, because I don't have anything else to say about lead code. I don't want to say memorize, but yeah. About live coding, the red ones are don't do's, by the way. Keep your thoughts to yourself. Don't do it, because again, if it's the live coding, they want you to talk, and talk. Ask questions. If it's the live coding, there will be a lot of questions for you to ask. Sometimes the questions are not so clear, so that they allow you to ask questions. This is an important part. Request help if you are stuck. It's okay, because I didn't have any team member who knows everything from their mind, right? We all use Google, we all use AI tools, which I will come to that in a second too. But it's okay if you can't remember anything. It's never an issue, I think, for a candidate to don't know anything. Do walk through your trade-offs, your assumptions, even if you don't implement them. You don't have to do anything about everything, sorry, not anything, but you don't have to do everything about the question that you're getting. You just have to explain your thoughts about it. Implement first and fix later. Some companies do this, for example, Facebook, but or Meta. But for some companies, this is quite the opposite. They want you to take your time and really slow, but give the like really optimized answer. I never had an experience like that in live coding. They always want you to implement first and fix later so that they can also understand how you're thinking, how you're debugging your own code. Okay, what else? Okay, take-home assignment. If it's a take-home assignment, clean code is a must because you have so much time. But please don't spend more time than instructed, because sometimes, for example, in Kraken, we say it should take you like 3 to 4 hours, 5 max, but don't go over 6. We always say this. And why is because you're not getting paid, of course. And the second is the more you work on it, the more expectation we will have. And we don't want this, like we really don't. And it takes a lot of time for interviewer as well. Do not submit the project without making sure it's running fine, which I just did with this presentation. So don't do that. But for example, do I have the start? No. Okay. For example, I had reviewed one project 2 weeks ago, I think, which the project was not running entirely, but there was a small issue, and I immediately understood. Okay, she like had some kind of stressful moment, and she immediately changed one thing at the very last second. Fixing it solved the issue. It was like one-line fix. And during the interview after this, we asked her to like, hey, your code is not running right now, but do you know why? And when she sees this, it's okay for us that like these small mistakes, they can be overlooked, but all, of course, like make sure that your project is running. You have to have a great commit history. This is also very important because not a lot of people like cares because they think that we don't look the commit history. But if they want the Git files, they will definitely take a look at it. Make sure that you divide them correctly. Make sure that you have like a clean instructions. Make sure that you don't commit them all in once. And you have to have a great README because unlike the other interview formats, we're not there with you when you're writing, when we're reviewing your code. So if you don't understand something, we will try to take some time on it, but we won't be going over 30 minutes. I know my colleagues are setting like 30 minutes timer, and if they can't make the project work by then, they always give up. So make sure that if someone follows README, then they can run your project without any issues. Not asking for more time when needed is a common issue, which I definitely discourage you to do it, because this is life. Like you can get sick, you can have some vacation. This time, like the time that we give you the project may not align with your current lifestyle or your current schedule. And if you don't tell this, we don't know, and we expect you to like finish the project. And I know some candidates didn't mention any of the sickness, any of the travel plans, and they try to do something at the last minute, and they complain later on, say, oh, yeah, I had like 2 hours to do it. Like, tell us so that we can give you more time. It's definitely okay. You have to explain any assumptions. If you don't, this will come to you in the next meeting if you had any, if you have any later on. Mention of improvements. I don't think everyone mentions this during the take-home test assignment, but if you do it, it's like very, very plus point, because you can treat this as, you can say this later on, for example, or in the README, if this was a real life problem, if this is a project that I would be working on day to day, I would improve this and that, but I didn't do it because this is like a small project that you gave me and I didn't have like that much time. I only spent like 3 hours, but if I had time, if this was an important project, I would do this and that. This would be very helpful. And validation. No matter the project is, I'm sure there is some validation that you need to check, because I realized that we have, for example, in our company, that have an edge case test. So make sure that your code is like good and you had your validations in check. Okay, what else? Oh, I have a start. What do I have to say? Okay, I think I remember. Okay, so you can have a mixture of one of these or more of these in your technical interviews, and they can last several days to weeks. And I once had an interview. I was the candidate side, and it was my third step of the technical interviews. And they told me, okay, this step will consist of 5 steps, and each step will take an hour, and you have to do them all on the same day, from like 10 a.m. to like 3 p.m. And I think there was only a lunch break for like 20 minutes after the 4th one. I think it was inhumane, to be honest. Like I was working that day and I had to take a day off. I immediately realized I don't want to be like involved in such a process. I don't want to be like, I want to have a work-life balance. And I wasn't sad that I didn't pass the whole 5, because I mean, my brain was mathing at the end of the day. Okay, water break, sorry. I want to talk about the bias because sometimes it's just the things that are out of your hand. We can't do anything about them. Like, we can do some stuff, but I will talk about those. Unfortunately, we all have our biases. Your interview can go so differently on any other day with any other person at the same company. Your mood, the interviewer's mood, the time of the day that you're interviewing, whether the interviewer had a breakfast or not, the need for the colleague, your name, your confidence, and so many more. We don't want to accept this, but it's the case, unfortunately. And we're trying to minimize this, but no matter how minimal it is, there will be some bias. For example, women are more likely to be interrupted during technical explanations. Interviewers tend to rate candidates higher when they share similar backgrounds, universities, career paths, countries, and vice versa. And affinity bias, this kind of bias, affects candidates from underrepresented groups, unfortunately. And research consistently shows that candidates with names perceived as foreign or non-Western receive worse evaluations. It doesn't have to be that bad. If your name is hard to pronounce, you can have like a lot of issues. For example, I have a middle name. It is Öykü, a lot of umlauts. It's Ö, Y, K, and U. And my last name is also Gümüs, like all the umlauts that you can have in a name, I have it. And I realized, I saw this one day, and this is from, if you don't know Level, it's a hiring tool that companies are using. And when you apply, your name appears as like in Level. And I saw this and I would have thought like, this is not a real person. I would have thought that this is a mistake and like a bot, for example, or I don't know. And I realized it is my name. I'm super lucky that I was like, not dismissed immediately, because I would dismiss myself. Okay, and candidates have biases too, unfortunately. Women tend to not apply jobs if they think they don't have all the qualifications listed, whereas men are applying even if they know they don't meet all the qualifications. And candidates can often convince themselves they're not skilled enough to apply. Sorry. Okay, this is a very embarrassing story. I was like very debating whether I should share this or not, but it's too late now. I was at the university on my 3rd grade, and if you don't know, I'm very, very involved. Like, I really loved watching American movies. And in American movies, when people are in the university 3rd grade, they call themselves junior. And if it's the 4th grade, they call themselves senior. And I'm looking for jobs, right? And I opened LinkedIn and I realized everyone is looking for junior and senior. Like, that must be amazing. Like, I have a lot of job opportunities. They're looking for junior. And I'm like, 3rd year right now, and I can apply for senior jobs because I will be junior, like I will be senior next year. And I applied a senior job. I applied a couple, like a lot. And I got back like 2 replies, 2 take-home tests, and I chose one of them. I went to like the interview, and interviews was fine. I was hired as a part-time engineer. And later on, I realized junior doesn't mean junior, and senior doesn't mean senior. Like, senior means at least you have like 4 years of experiences, not like your 4th year of university. And if I knew this back then, I was so stupid, but if I knew this, I wouldn't apply at all. Like I definitely wouldn't apply, and I wouldn't have got my job. It was my first job ever. It got me to Django. It got me to Python. I learned so much from that opportunity. So what I'm saying is apply, apply, apply. What we can do about bias? Know that it exists, unfortunately. And you can seek out companies that use structured interviews. You can document the interview and give feedback. You can leave reviews on Glassdoor, for example, so that you let the company and the other people know. And if you are the interviewer, you can push for more structured and documented interviews. You can take the initiative yourself. Okay, this is the last part. I'm like very tired, I'm so sorry. So new reality of the tech hiring. Things are simply harder than before. I want to mention this before we say goodbye, because 4 to 5 years ago, if you were a software engineer with 3+ years of experience, you likely had a better, easier, and faster progress. There are a lot of factors for this, like number of open tech jobs decreased drastically, and changes of trends causing big shifts on which domains get more open positions. Developers from each levels are facing more challenges than before. And usage of AI is forcing big changes on the tech hiring. And I want to talk about all of this. Number of open tech jobs has decreased a lot, as you can see. So around 2022, there was a peak of the market. And after 2023, there was a big drop. And now, even though by 2025, we are increased 40%, we are still not there. Simply, there are not enough jobs anymore. And there are more and more people getting in tech, which is very good. But unfortunately, number of open jobs are not the same. Changes of trends, a shocker, but AI and LLM is now a hot topic. AI infrastructure, machine learning operations, generative AI application development is getting more and more attention and getting more and more job openings. Whereas the core fundamentals, like core jobs like backend, front-end, mobile development, and similar areas, I'm backend, by the way, is in the decrease. An experience level. Of course, junior engineers and new grads face the biggest challenge. Some companies that once known as hiring university graduate people have dramatically scaled them back, which is very concerning because this could create an experience gap that impacts the industry. For mid-level developers, this means more interview steps. So I just said I had an interview for 5 hours. This was the 3rd step. And I know that some people are getting 11 step, for example, it's getting more and more interview steps, more loops, and the number of interview loops always increased. This also affects senior and staff people too, because right now they're getting paid more than before, and this increases the responsibilities and expectations from them. I have a staff friend which is stressed out. I don't know if I want to staff anymore. It's very stressful job. Okay, so I want to talk about usage of AI, but I'm okay, so usage of AI. If you're a candidate, what you should do? You should always ask if is AI allowed during an interview or while doing a take-home test. If it's not stated already, always ask. If they say yes, know that how you use AI is being evaluated. And be honest, how much you used, which parts are being done by the AI. Maybe you can also share what kind of comments that you run. It's always good to be honest. And if it's no, know that they will scan the usage of AI on your code, on your project, on whatever. So there's no point of, I think, cheating. If you are the interviewer, it's a bit scarier because candidates can now use a second screen or device with an AI tool running in the background. So it's getting harder and harder for companies to get through people to work with them. Right now, there are a lot of deepfake videos. So someone else can physically be there, and you don't even know. They can work around screen sharing, screen sharing versions as well. So sharing a window while another screen runs AI tools freely, or someone else helping them in another screen, for example, this happens a lot. And I want to share one experience that BDOC Security Lab shared on the blog, which I will show you in a second. But they caught 2 fake candidates during their hiring process. This was the early stages of the interviews they had, because it was a startup and they were hiring the first few engineers, right? So they're really looking for someone that they can trust. And I saw this like on the internet. I said, AI fakers exposed in tech development recruitment postmortem. And they say, apparently, so the person on the right is the candidate. They shared everything because it's a deep fake video. So it's like the person who's interviewing is not a real person. So it's okay to share because they shared. So I'm just sharing it too. The person on the left is the interviewer. The person on the right is the candidate. And they knew something is going on because the questions were not adding up. The background information were not like always good, but they were on the last step. So the person interviewing said, "Oh, can you put your hand on your face if it's a deepfake video? Like there should be a disruption." They refused to do it, and later on, someone messaged them saying that it looks a lot like the Polish politician. Is it the same? I don't know. Yeah, is it? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so it's getting scarier and scarier. So what you can do is that you can align with your colleagues on how to proceed with the usages of AI topic. Always include a follow-up walkthrough after any take-home test, because there's no guarantee that the candidate did the take-home test. If they can't explain anything, the submission is invalid regardless of the quality or the correctness. If you're suspicious, ask candidates to perform specific physical gestures early in the call. And if an interviewer asks you to, move your head from side to side, please don't get offended. Unfortunately, that's the new reality right now. And that was it from me. I hope you enjoyed.
Thank you, Maya. Amazing, very interesting, and I love this end bit around the that you added, since I got to watch the preview. Okay, I think we can maybe do 2 questions, because I guess everyone wants to eat. So let me run back there.
Hi, Maya. Thank you for the talk. And I wanted to ask about biases about sabbatical. So someone took sabbatical for some time. What it is about? What is it about for the interviewer and for the candidate, and how better to handle it? Yeah, thank you.
So that's a really good question, because there's a lot of different ideas on this topic, but no one can say something politically not correct, right? So everyone will tell you it's okay. Sometimes it is. I really truly believe that it is, because it doesn't matter how many years that you spend in the between. For me or for my team, it matters how you are presenting yourself in the job. So depends, unfortunately. So for some companies, it can be very important. For some companies, it should not be important. But in general, if they're not requiring someone with very latest developments, if you have to be top of your game, it shouldn't be any issue. But always communicate this beforehand, and during the interview. Yeah.
I have, as an interviewee, unfortunately, a lot to say about this all this topic, and I wanted to talk about red flags for interviewees during take-home assignments. So you are obviously a very fair company, your company, and you are a very fair and good interviewer. But there are startups and smaller software agencies that would give you a take-home assignment that is a real project that they're working on, And if it looks like a real project, that it's like a red flag for you. And it happened to me, and it happened to a lot of people that I know, actually, and even like very senior positions, that they were given a real project, and then they weren't accepted to a job as a cultural fit, like very vague. But yeah, this is the reality as well right now.
Thank you for sharing this. So it's unfortunately an issue. It should be if you want to share, talk about a real problem that you had at work, it should be discussed in the system design interview, because that will be an interesting topic. But that should be the case after you solve it as a company. But that's just free labor, right? Like when you're asking them to do it as a take-home test, it's a free labor. So that also tells you a lot about the company. So a rejection from that company shouldn't be very upsetting, I would say.
Okay, please, another round of applause for Maya. Just wait here a sec. So, we are finished now with the presentation part of this evening, but we do have some delicious food downstairs. We will all have to coordinate in an orderly fashion to get down there, because remember, you're on the 5th floor. I hope that you all enjoyed this evening. I think the talks were great. I want to thank Erica, I want to thank Lisa and Maya. This was a really fantastic chance to learn and listen from all of you, but it doesn't stop. So we'll go down, and if you have questions, you want to ask the speakers, please go up to them. They're all incredibly friendly people. Please chat with other people here that you maybe didn't meet. I know that lots of people in the room are maybe looking for jobs, and you can share. Maybe someone else is hiring, or maybe they have like job boards. Maybe Black Lane is hiring. I'm seeing some like finger pointing over at the back. So like really maximize this opportunity for you, because that's why we put these events on. And I think you mentioned in opening slides, if you want to get involved, we run monthly calls. We always post in our Slack. Slack is basically the place to go. And with that, we will close out, and we will close the streams.